Hi, Steven. You founded the Debate for Peace initiative. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about the work you do and what motivated you to start the initiative?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. I started Debate for Peace because I was really involved in Model UN, and I was working with a group of Jewish students, and I was working with a group of Arab students in Petah Tikva and in Tira, and I wanted to bring them together, and MUN just seemed like the perfect way to do it. So I started with that, and then Debate for Peace became a way for Jewish and Arab students from many different communities all around Israel to meet through Model UN to talk about different topics. So it could be anything in international relations, conflicts, peace building, economic issues, human rights, women's empowerment, climate change. And the students get to role play. They represent different countries, and they gain amazing skills in English. So negotiation, public speaking, debate. And it's been going for 7-8 years. Students from over 100 cities and towns. We have conferences within Israel. We have delegations abroad. And then we do workshops with people abroad to try to show them our method.
Your organization brings together Arab and Jewish students together, and it's really amazing what you're trying to do to foster the future leaders of peace. As one of the founders, can I ask you what's your biggest takeaway from years of working with these young people?
Ooh, I have a lot of takeaways. I'd say the biggest one is just that it's so easy to do, like it's so possible. I think when people hear, getting Jewish and Arab students to sit and talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, to talk about what to do about Jerusalem or Gaza, like that sounds like it'll be really hard and people won't want to do it and it'll get really contentious. But the students are amazing. They're really respectful. They disagree vehemently. They have very strong, passionate views, but they present them in respectful ways. They go out for coffee and lunch afterwards. That's the easy part. Our challenge is always just getting the kids together. They're living in different cities around the country, geographically, bringing them together, getting time off from school, things like that. But it's surprisingly easy to get these passionate, involved students to meet and talk about the things that they hold different views on.
Yeah, wow. So it's easier to bring the students together. It's the logistics that's sometimes the issue.
And it gives me a bit of hope because it's, people think, nobody wants to talk. No, that's not true. We have thousands of students who are just waiting for the opportunity. And of course, they are future leaders, like you say.
Yeah, well, that's more than we can say about some of the conversations that happening on social media right now, which takes us to the next question. There's a misconception about the demographic situation in Israel. A lot of people don't realize it's a really diverse society, and in view of what happened on October the 7th, can I ask you how the unity that we're seeing, and do you see like a sense of shared tragedy among the Arab and the Jewish communities here in your community?
Yeah, of course. That's a really important question because I think it's probably one of the biggest things that people outside the country don't see. And I think we're seeing it abroad where there's a lot of tension between Jewish and Muslim communities. There's tension on college campuses. And it's really different than first of all, we're all victims. There's lots of Bedouin victims of what Hamas did. There's Arab heroes who are saving Jewish lives. I can tell you, I personally received, it was very moving to me, in addition to many messages from Arab friends from all over the country. Right afterwards, just making sure that I was safe, and same, me checking on them. But I received from the head of the Islamic Waqf, which is like the Islamic institution for the town of the village of Yassif in the north. And he just sent an incredible message saying that the homes in our village are open to anyone who's been dispersed by the conflict in the south. Anybody who's left their homes, we'll basically receive you in our village, give you a place to stay, give you food as long as you need. So I think things like that, all the volunteering together, it shows, how, and we can have different views on politics, but we're all trying to build a shared society together and support each other.
Yeah, I think these stories of resilience and positivity is really important right now that sometimes maybe people outside of Israel can't see or hear, so thanks for sharing that. Can I ask you something about what's happening within your organization? How are the students holding up there?
Well, obviously, we've transitioned everything to be virtual. We're going to be the last people to go back to in-person meetings because our students come from all over the country, including some who are no longer living in their hometowns because of the situation. So it's very difficult for us to meet in person. We're doing everything online. We're more active than we were before the war started. Since Tuesday, the week of the war, for the last 3.5 weeks, we're holding daily Zoom meetings.
Mm.
So we have at least one meeting a week where Jewish and Arab students from anywhere can join, talk about how they're feeling, and they're joined by guests from abroad. We've had over 15 countries participate, and it's just, we wanted to support the students, give them a chance to express how they're feeling, but we've seen it's also been really helpful for people living abroad, Jews in America and Europe who are seeing anti-Semitism, non-Jews who just want to show solidarity. We've had Muslims from Europe who joined, and just sharing basic empathy and humanity. We have a writing course with a professor, retired professor of education from the U.S. We have an art course taught by a teacher in New York. And we have an amazing lecture series now with Ivy League professors who just come and donate their time, and students from all over are joining that. So that's what we're doing.
That's really incredible. What would you say to students who genuinely wants to promote peace, who wants to advocate for coexistence? What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? What's your advice?
Yeah, so I think firstly the inability to condemn violence against civilians, to see humanity on both sides, to recognize that the overwhelming majority of civilians on both sides are victims here. The inability to show empathy, it hurts your cause, whichever cause that is. So I think that's the first thing. Is it's what we're seeing on college campuses all over the U.S. What I'm watching, it's horrible. I think it's a failure of education. I think that in addition to teaching sciences and humanities and history and math and subjects in the classroom, there are real life skills that universities should be instilling in their students, and clearly they're not getting it. I can quote a friend from Gaza because I talk to people in Gaza, and when I describe to them what's happening on college campuses, they're just flabbergasted. They don't understand how people engaging in anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, attacking random people who are unconnected, how that's going to improve their life in any way. So what do we need? I think what they should do is we should be consolidating around what we have in common. So you have pro-Israel clubs, you have pro-Palestinian clubs. I don't mean the real extremists who really just hate people. Fine, let's leave them aside. But there's a whole lot of people who care about the people in Israel, the Palestinian people. I think what they should be doing is they should be finding the common ground, which is that, first of all, we mourn the death of civilian lives on both sides, and we can do that together. And second of all, we can realize that this situation is not good. There needs to be a better situation. We want a better future for Israeli children. We want a better future for Palestinian children. So let's sit down and talk about it. What could a Palestinian state look like that would mean a better future for Palestinian and Israeli children, a better economy, security? I think that end goal would be the same. And so they could be sitting and having that conversation. And instead of having that conversation, they're just fighting with each other. So that doesn't help us here, To quote Professor Dejani, Professor Mohammed Dejani, he said, "Don't import our conflict to your campus." It's not going to help us. Help us make peace. Don't help us kill each other. That's what I would say to them.
You're here today, and you really gave us a message of positivity and really gave us a lot of hope. Do you envision any possible challenges within your program after what happened, but also do you hold out any hope for the future for peaceful reconciliation?
It's mixed. I'm pessimistic and optimistic. So I'm optimistic because daily I see the good in the kids. I see the next generation and how much they want a better future, how much they want to talk, sort out their differences, how they're respectful, how different they are than what you see on social media. That's the good news. I'm pessimistic because I just don't see any political leadership. I don't see political leadership on any side that has either the political clout or the will to really, make the kind of tough choices, sacrifices, courage that it takes to make peace. And I think we're very much stuck in short-term thinking where everything's a 1 year, 2 year Band-Aid instead of thinking 5, 10, 20 years down the line. What do we want this to look like? How do we do that? I think we need to empower young generation. We need to empower leaders, make sure that when people take positions of leadership, they have the friendship networks that are diverse. They have the skills to talk through differences and solve things. That's mostly on us as Israelis and Palestinians, but I do think, again, people on college campuses, other countries that are, of course, close allies and very involved here, they should keep us honest. They should put pressure on us to say, think about your long term. What is your long-term vision? What are you doing to help future generations and build future leadership that can work together? So I think that's one way to help.